We're going to see if anybody shows up. Going to give it a couple minutes because we got to take some deep breaths because y'all. So I'm going to tell y'all something. I have allergies. Those of you who know me know I have allergies. And normally, if my nose is itching or if my ears or my head or my fingers are itching on their own, that's me having an allergy attack. Today, everything is itching. It has been all afternoon. I've done my best to get it under control, and I just couldn't do it. So I had to come upstairs and do some smudging in my office. I don't know how many of you smudge, but you should definitely do it. And so today I'm smudging mugwort and cedar, but it's a hot smudge, meaning I started the charcoal and I put it on there and my office immediately filled with smoke. So I've got the ceiling fan on, I've got the window open. Yeah, y'all. So this is something important I'm going to tell you. So as usual, I sat down and I pulled cards from each of my 8 decks and I took notes because sometimes I'm scatterbrained and I'll forget shit. So here we go. We got a lot to go over. Okay. First of all, let me tell you that this general reading is for the entire group for tomorrow, not for today because it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon here. So it's for tomorrow. So y'all will want to pay attention really close, okay? But we're going to start off with my vibe cards, right? I have 2 of them. So we've got 2 different types of vibrations going on, but they work together. So the first one that came up is we've got to seek solitude, right? So we all know seeking solitude is a huge thing. It's a good way to keep your shit in check, right? Because you can't pour from an empty pitcher, can you? So the next one that came up doesn't come up real often. It's an aura cleanse. There are a bunch of different ways that you can cleanse your aura. And your aura is just your energy signature in the universe that everybody else picks up, right? So I think the person in this group that has known me the longest is my friend Victoria. And I think Victoria and I are going on being friends for 15 years. Yeah. So she has seen random people just start telling me their entire life story. So that's just my aura. That's what people do. I've had to come to grips with it, so I have. Fuck it, right? But to cleanse your aura, several things that you can do. You can take an Epsom salt bath, put some lavender in there, right? Light a white candle, grab your favorite crystal. This one is mine right now. It is Numite, called the Sorcerer's Stone. And I found that up in a little shop in Antioch last week. Go out in nature. Go out barefoot. Too many people in this world don't walk around outside barefoot anymore. Walk outside barefoot. Sit under a tree. Meditate. You can even take a hot shower and you can visualize that water and that soap just cleansing all the negativity out of your aura. So the fact that Seek Solitude and Aura Cleanse came up together tells me we need to get ready for some shit. So we're going to move on to our goddess cards. And we had 2 of them come up. One in the reverse, one upright. I'm sorry, other way around. White Buffalo Woman was in the reverse and Rhiannon was in the upright. So let's talk about the goddess Rhiannon first. She is an Irish goddess, a Celtic goddess. In the myth, she was accused of killing and eating her own son. She didn't. It took several years for him to be found, and she was vindicated. But during that time where people were gossiping that she had killed and eaten her son, she was very serene. She was very accepting of the situation because she knew she was right. So what she has come to tell us is that we need to be serene, right? Find some solitude, clean your aura. It's time to be serene. I don't know why my cards are wanting to fly all over my desk and my box. Everything happens in its own time. And that's what the goddess Rhiannon has come to tell us, okay? She could have acted like somebody on Jerry Springer or Steve Wilkos or the Maury Povich show, screaming and yelling and jumping up and down. She was very calm. She was very serene. And it ended up that her son was still alive. He had been taken from her by the Fae. That's why you don't fuck with the fairies. And he ended up becoming the King of Ireland. Okay. What we need to do here, after we get our solitude and we clean our aura, we need to be serene. We need to have a higher level of detachment from whatever is going on in the world. Okay. We have to understand that things happen for a reason and they happen in their own time. We can't push it. Now, White Buffalo Woman has come up for me several times. Rarely do I get a goddess card that is reversed. White Buffalo Woman is a Native American goddess. Coming up reversed, this is her telling us that we're all one family. We need to pull our heads out of our asses and put aside our differences and our egos, because God knows American society is super ego driven. You got to have the biggest, the best, and the newest of everything all the time, right? But we need to put aside our differences. We need to put aside our egos and remember what makes us similar. What do we all have in common? We need to remember a house divided is a house that will fall. We're all family here. So when I was studying White Buffalo Woman, oh my goodness, my nose, God, so chatty today. So when I was studying on the White Buffalo Woman before I came live with my notes, the keywords for working with her shadow side, which is what this is. Anytime a card comes up reversed, it's just a shadow side, okay? It's not a bad thing. We have disunity going on right now, and I think we're all very aware of it, no matter where on the political spectrum you are, and we're not going to discuss which side you're on because it's going to start a fight, and I'm going to start banning and deleting per the rules. We've got disharmony. There's division and corruption. People are shifting blame from themselves to other people. It comes back down to the other, right? Capital T, capital O, the other. So we have people in the world telling us that we need to fear people who don't look like us, right? We see it all the time. White Buffalo Woman has come to tell us that we need to correct this. We need to come together as one family and be better. Okay? If we don't, we're going to end up in a, and I hate to say it this way, but there's no other way to say it. We're going to end up enslaved to our beliefs, right? We're going to end up living in echo chambers. That's not cool. That's not what we want. Okay? So we need to listen. We need to listen to the people who don't look like us. We need to listen to the people who don't think like us. And then we need to come together. To quote the Beatles, who y'all know I don't like. Now, ancestors, we're super chatty today because I pulled up 4 cards. Do y'all see what the first one that was? Death. Okay. And we've had a chat about death before in our card pulls. Death is a transformation. And in my ancestor cards, that's what the death card looks like, right? Looks like one of the 4 horsemen from the Bible. We have the pale horse, we have the skeleton, we have the banner. We have a transformation coming up. This is going to be a necessary ending, okay? This ending has to happen. We have to make a major change, and we have to remain open to that change because it's going to be fucking amazing. It's going to release us from whatever we want to hold on to because we feel safe holding on to that, okay? So him coming in first tells me there's a huge transformation that's about to happen. So that's why we need to get our auras cleaned. That's why we need to listen to the White Buffalo Woman. That's why we need to understand the story of Rhiannon. Okay? Because of this. This is coming and there's nothing we can do to stop it. The next card that came up was the Queen of Cups, but she's reversed, right? So we got some shadow work here. this is what she's asking us. So normally when she comes up, she's a very kind and thoughtful and sensitive and warm and caring woman, right? When she comes up in her shadow, what she's asking us to do is not keep our head in the sand or live in the clouds or anything like that. It's time for us to be realistic. It's time for us to drop the victim mentality. Let me say that again. Drop the victim mentality. Nobody wants to hear that shit. You have the ability to make the transformation that you need to make. Drop the victim mentality. But that doesn't mean giving up your stance, okay? What you need to do is learn to speak out. Don't be a victim. Stand up to the people who are bullying you. Stand up to what you perceive as wrong in the world today. Because if you don't stand up, who the fuck is going to stand up? Right? Somebody has to. So why not make it you? And then we had a reversed strength card. Okay. What this is telling us is really, really simple. I mean, look at my notes because I wrote a lot on these. Now is not the time to sit around and be quiet and expect somebody else to fix something for us. You have more power than you realize. And the fact that this is reversed is telling us that there are people who are sitting around going, oh, woe is me. This is so awful. But I'm one person. What can I do? Jeanne d'Arc, right? Joan of Arc was one person. And she took on the King of France, right? Boudica, who I don't know if any of you ever heard of, is an ancient Celtic queen who took on Julius Caesar and the entire Roman Empire. She united the Celtic tribes in England and drove the Romans from the country. And she was one person. So don't be sitting around on your couch going, well, I'm just one person. There's nothing I can do. Yes, there is. Stand up and speak up. Make the transformation. Quit daydreaming. It's time to get our hands dirty. The final card from our ancestors is the Seven of Wands. This is a defensive position. Do you see he's standing in front of the door? And he's got his staff across his body and across the door. If you've ever done any kind of hand-to-hand combat at all, this is a defensive position. Okay? But you're also going to have to overcome obstacles, and your beliefs and your ideals and beliefs are going to be challenged. Okay? And again, we come back to the goddess Rhiannon because we have to remain calm and serene in the face of this challenge, but we have to have the courage to stand up and speak our mind, right? That's what the Seven of Wands is telling us. It is time for us to stand up and be a unifying force. White Buffalo Woman is asking us to do that. This is what we have to do, right? Okay. So one of my cards decided to jump off my desk. Give me just a second. Which card jumped off? It was Rhiannon. So she's actually pretty active right now. It almost feels like we need to be engaging in some kind of, I don't want to say passive resistance, because there's nothing passive about resistance. I want to say it is probably something more along the lines of a quiet resistance, right? They've been saying for years that an army of gray-haired women is going to take over the world. I know not everybody in here has as much gray hair as I do, and that's fine. But there's going to be a sea change coming. There is a massive transformation coming, and we need to be in our power, and we need to be in our strength in order to handle that, because we all have families that we have to protect. And we have friends, like we have the family that we've given birth to, we have the family that we've married into, we have the family that we've been born into, and then we have our soul family, who are the people that we have attracted to us over the years. So that's our soul family. And so all of those families need to come together and accept this change that's coming. Now, do I know if the change is good or bad? I haven't seen anything in the cards today, whether it's going to be good or bad, because there are going to be some people who think it's bad and there are going to be some people who think it's great. Okay. That's kind of the beauty of being us. Everyone is different and everyone thinks differently. So then we go to our soul cards, right? These are our soul lessons. The first one that came up was the purpose card. Okay. And if you've known me for any length of time, you know my big thing is everybody needs to know what their purpose is because everybody has a purpose. There are no spare people in the world. So everyone has a purpose. The mantra for this card is, I know what I am here to do. So what exactly do you think you're here to do? Do you know? You can journal about this, right? You can meditate on it. You can ask for guidance with it. That's totally okay. That also comes with the aura cleanse, because if your aura is muddy, then you're not going to have a clear purpose, right? The second card that came up, and this is a pretty important one, is gratitude, right? In our weekend reading, gratitude came up. If you feel like you don't have anything in your life to be grateful for, you really need to study why, okay? I know, right? And the reason for that is if you have a roof over your head, you have food in your belly, you have clean water to drink, you have clean clothes to wear, you have people who care about you, you have a shit ton more to be grateful for than people in some other countries do. Okay? The problem becomes we don't express that gratitude on a daily basis. Now, I'm not going around saying that you need to tell everybody, thank you, I appreciate you, I'm grateful for you. If you want to, that's cool, because God knows I do that. And that embarrasses everybody in my family because I read name tags and I'll say, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. But that little gratitude just kind of spins around. And then I find that I'm having more and more and more things to be grateful for. This week, the biggest thing I'm grateful for is my yoga classes. My in-person yoga classes are back. And the one I had this morning had 8 people in it already. So that's something to be grateful for. One of the things that you can do with this gratitude card is start a gratitude journal. It doesn't have to be anything big or fancy. I have one. It's just a plain old spiral notebook that I think I got for 79 cents at Target. And every day I try to write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. Some days it's easier than others. The mantra for gratitude is, I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. So maybe, oh God, my neighbor. So we're going to be grateful this week. Okay. We're going to be grateful that we have what it takes to weather this massive transformation that's coming and that we're going to do it well. Okay. The last card that came up from our soul journey is acceptance. Again, Rhiannon is here. Yeah. Serene acceptance of the situation. Okay. The mantra for this is, I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. If any of you have been in recovery, you understand that that is part of the serenity prayer. It's a very serene mindset to have. And I struggle with it every single day because I am a control freak. And I know I'm a control freak. Okay, that's just part of my nature. But I have to learn to accept that I can't control everything in the world. And I think that's very important right now. The only thing that we can control is our own reactions to things. And it takes a lot of acceptance and a lot of patience and a lot of strength, right? It takes a lot of all of this to be able to accept. Let me close this window because my neighbor is crazy, y'all. He mows his grass every other day. No shit. There we go. And I heard a ding. Who dinged me? Who dinged me? Who dinged me? Usually it comes up on my Facebook. Okay. So onward and upward, however you want to call it. The next thing we had to do, we had to talk about messages from our subconscious, right? And these are actually pretty good cards. The first one that came up is victory and success. This is the Six of Spirit, and it's got this violet border, right? And violet is representative of our crown chakra. This is what connects us to God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it, okay? This card coming in is telling us that good news is coming, okay? Even though we've got the death card in here with this massive transformation that's coming, and then we've got so much chaos and hate and discontent that's being sowed on all sides, right? It's not just one side that's doing it. It's all sides that are doing it. And it's like we're in this big octagon and everybody wants to fight everybody else over the dumbest shit. Like, get over yourself, right? What comes to mind is, if you want me to care, which of my bills are you paying for me? Right? So this victory and success tells us that good news is coming our way, but we have to keep our egos in check, right? So we are back to the story of Rhiannon with our ego. We are back to the Queen of Cups in reverse about our ego. We need to keep our egos in check if we're going to get this victory and our success, okay? We're in a very challenging time right now, and we are handling it very, very well. And we'll be able to handle whatever comes up next. We just have to keep our energies clear, be patient and serene, check our egos at the door, accept the transformation, come together as one. Don't you love how all these cards just mesh together? The next card that came up from our subconscious, rest and rejuvenate. This is the four of mental things, okay? You see it's got this indigo border, this blue border. So rest and rejuvenate, pretty self-explanatory. You need to rest. You need to fill your own will. Fill your own well. I promise I haven't been drinking yet. I promise. But it's time to fill your own well. And if you are like me, you do that by finding solitude, right? So, filling our own well. And the reason for this is because we've been so mentally, because this is the mental card, and emotionally burdened. You know, we're talking about 6 months of COVID here in the US alone. That's such a long time, you know, and we spent 4 months of it pretty much locked down away from our social interactions and things like that, other than on Zoom. So that takes a really, really big toll on you. In my case, I have PTSD and anxiety and rage disorder, and I just was cycling through and cycling through and cycling through, and then I lost 2 of my 3 dogs, and that just made everything else worse, and I just kind of bottomed out. So it's been a very emotionally and mentally taxing time. So now it's time to seek solitude and fill our own wells, so that when we get to the other side of this transformation that's coming, we'll have the energy and the stamina to get through it. I think a lot of us are depleted right now, simply because of all the stuff that's been going on and is still going on. So, you know, do what you need to do to refill your well. Again, go outside barefoot. There's nothing wrong with being barefoot. Just if you have dogs, watch where you walk in your yard. What that does is that connects us back to Mother Earth, and it grounds us, and it helps to recharge our batteries. Take a salt bath if you need to. You know, visualize everything being washed away in the shower. Because now we have to find our serene acceptance, right? And we just need to step back and watch what's going on with wide open eyes. The next set of cards that we have is from the Witch Self, right? This is my Dreams of Gaia deck. And I only had one of those that came up reversed, but it's a major arcana. So this is a very, very important piece of shadow work that we need to do. This tarot deck I am rapidly falling in love with because it is very, very detailed. And it's this deck that at the moment keeps me from just shuffling and pulling live, simply because there's so much information contained in each card. My fingers are itching. So because there's so much information, I have to go in and distill that information down to what's relevant at the moment for all of us. So the first card that we got is the Ten of Water. And it's very, very interesting because if you look at this card up close, up here in the top, we have the all-seeing eye. And then this is the symbol for the goddess. This is the triple goddess. This is the maiden, the mother, and the crone. For me, anytime I see all three of these together, and I do have this tattoo, anytime I see all three of these together, it means that women in all seasons of their lives need to come together. Okay. Water is all of your emotions, right? So this is the 10 card. So we're coming to a conclusion here. So what she is asking here is, or what she's telling us, is that it is a time to be serene and peaceful, that we need to, we need to rejuvenate ourselves. And it always just fascinates me how all of these cards just come together and they each give us a little piece of information. But this is also telling us, she is also telling us that we need to start saying no to disruptive influences, right? So if you have something or somebody that is disrupting your peace and your solitude and your ability to recharge your batteries, you need to start learning to say no to it. Okay? No is not a bad word. No is a boundary, and boundaries are your best friends. And I talk about them all the time. Okay? So what she's asking us to do here is to start saying no to those disruptive influences. But we also, she's telling us, have the power to consciously project our energies. Okay? So you can throw out all the negative vibes you want. And what happens when you throw out all these negative vibes? Nobody wants to hang around you, right? I mean, I went through a period of time where I was super duper negative, and y'all can get ballsy and ask Victoria, and she'll tell you, because she didn't want to hang out with me for a while. That's how bad it was. Or you can make the conscious decision, right, to see things from a more positive point of view. And I think that positive point of view is not floating around real well right now in our world. Okay. And again, it comes down to, you don't need to say something like, well, I'm just one person. What can I do? Next time you go to the Kroger or the Publix and you're checking out, read the cashier's name tag. Ask how they're doing. Tell them, have a great day. You've just put that little bit of positivity in somebody's life. And the person before you may have dumped all of the negativity they have on that person. One person can make a world of difference to somebody else, okay? So that's what she's saying. She also wants us to know that all the weight from all of this bullshit that we've been going through is starting to lift, okay? The weight. I'm not saying that COVID is over. I'm not saying the pandemic is anywhere close to being done. I think we all know that that's not going to happen. But she's telling us that we now are growing the emotional capacity to deal with it. Okay? Yes, there are going to be some people in the world who want to be childish and think that their wants and desires outweigh the needs of everybody else. And one of the things that we talked about quite a bit when I was in the service was the needs of the many outweigh the desires of the few. Okay? We can call them collateral damage. We're always going to have some collateral damage during a transformation. We always are. That's why the death card for our ancestor deck looks like a warrior, right? Do I think that we're going into a civil war right now? No. Do I think that there are some seeds for civil war out there? Probably. But she's not telling me that it's there. She's telling me that there are more good people with good energy floating around than the news outlets would have us believe. Okay. We just need to be strong enough and brave enough to be good. It's not that hard to be good. It really isn't. Why is it so hard to do the right thing for some people? And I don't know. So the next card that came up from the Dreams of Gaia is the Father. This is a major arcana card. So he's pretty important. I think we all know, we've talked about father figures and we joke about daddy issues and things like that, especially if you watch white trash TV like I do. We joke quite a bit about daddy issues and all this other fun stuff. But if you look closely, right, like he's sitting there and he's looking at you like it's time to make a decision, because it is. But it's not just the decision. Like you have to make the decision and then take the action for the decision. Basically what he's telling us as women here, right? Because we got this triple goddess. What the Father is telling us, that it is time for us to step up and take charge, and that we are supposed to lead the way. The world will be taken over by an army of gray-haired women. It's time for us to step up and lead the way. It is time for us to be the change that we want to see in the world, right? Always hear that. And it sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. So what we need to do is we just need to go ahead and make that decision. Making a decision means cutting off all other options. You can't lollygag around and have like 3 different options on one topic. You have to make the decision, cut 2 out and keep 1. But we need to get everything in order to avoid chaos. This is emotional chaos. This is mental chaos. This is energetic chaos. This is chaos in our houses. This is chaos with our friends. We need to make that decision and get ready for that. We need to get our shit in order to be prepared for the transition. Okay. This is the central card, this death card, the transition card. The last one that came up from Dreams of Gaia is, the desire card. And it doesn't necessarily mean lust and sex, right? Because we all desire things. Right now, I'm kind of desiring an apple cider donut. Okay. And I desire for it not to be 7 million degrees every day. And I desire that my neighbor not mow his grass every other day. That would be lovely. All right. So this is the desire card. And it came up reversed. Again, doing some shadow work with our desire here. What we need to do here is look really honestly at the things that we want. Okay. Are you being selfish? Are you wanting something just for yourself? Are you wanting to dishonor somebody? Are you wanting to hurt somebody? Are the decisions and the desires that you have dishonoring yourself? Are they hurting yourself? Because once again, you need to get out of that victim mentality, right? Like all the queens are telling us. All the queens are telling us to get out of our victim mentality. All right? Are your desires making you a victim? Are you a victim of your desires? Are they dishonoring you in some kind of way? It's also telling us to quit worrying about what other people think of us, right? What other people think of us isn't any of our damn business. Everybody's got an opinion, and they're all like assholes. You've heard me say that probably 1,000 times. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. That's what we think, right? So don't worry about what other people are thinking about you. It was a huge step for me to come out and start Witch of Theta. It really was. And that's simply because I live in a very small southern town. And quite frankly, those who've known me already knew, so I don't know what the big problem was, but putting myself out there was a really big deal for me. I just had to quit worrying about what other people thought of me because I realized that most people are buried in their phones. Hi, iPhone, right? Buried in their phones. They're not paying attention to what I'm doing. Hopefully somebody is, but you never know. But what we need to do is quit worrying about what other people are thinking about us. We need to quit worrying about what other people are doing. And we need to start focusing on what we're not doing for ourselves, right? This isn't about just focusing on what we've got going on, because every single one of us have something that we know we need to do to make ourselves better, to be the queen, right? And we're just not doing it. So you need to figure out what it is that you need to do to get your crown straight. Pick your face up, because you can't wear your crown if you're looking down. And here's the thing, right? Going back to the desire to hurt somebody or to dishonor somebody, that desire doesn't say anything about them. Okay? It really doesn't. Queen of Cups jumped off the table this time. Your desire to hurt or dishonor or slight somebody says absolutely nothing about them. Nothing. But it says everything about your character. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay? It says everything about your character. So, if you're saying to yourself or to other people, oh, I hate that person, and then you start telling everybody why you hate that person, but you're talking to people that also know that person and they know them fairly well. You're not making that person look bad. You're making yourself look bad. One of the things that I always talk about, and I tell my friends this, and I've probably told all of you this. If I have a problem with you, I'm going to say it to you. Okay. So if I have a problem with my friend Faith, who's in this group, I'm going to go, yo, Faith, can I talk to you? I'm not going to run to everybody at the gym that we go to tell everybody, because it ain't everybody's business, right? What I will do is go, my friend Faith is a beast. She's in the gym every single day. She's lifting weights. She's doing the cardio. She killed spin class this morning. I'm going to lift you up behind your back. Because I know that if I were to talk shit about somebody's about behind their back, they're going to hear it. It always comes around, doesn't it? It always does. And it makes you look like an asshole. So one of the things that the card is also warning us about is becoming a slave to our baser desires, right? Those base desires to possess and control and to make yourself look better than other people. That's a pretty base desire, don't you think? It's just as easy to come together and lift everyone up. So look at what it is that you're wanting deep, deep down inside. Look at what it is that you're wanting. Figure out, is this going to hurt somebody else? Is it going to hurt me? Is it going to make me look like an asshole? And then figure out how to let that go. You just got to let that go. Basically, and we've got 2 more decks to go through, y'all. But basically, all of these cards are telling us that we've got transformation coming, right? We've got major transformation coming. We need to be grateful that we've got the strength to get through it. We need to be serene. We need to accept that it's coming, because the only constant in life is change. It's the only constant in life is change, okay? Everything changes. The sun changes from minute to minute, but we don't know it for 8 minutes and for 8 minutes after it's happened, right? Mars is in retrograde. All kinds of stuff is going on. The only thing we can control is our reaction to it. Whole lot of shit talking going on. Walk away from it. Don't engage in it, because that's going to bring your vibration down, right? And then you're going to have to scrub your aura like you scrub your toilet. There we have it. That one just came in my ear. Somebody's talking shit. walk away from it, especially if they're talking shit about somebody else. Because if they're going to talk shit about somebody behind their back, they're going to talk shit about you behind your back. Deep breath. So we got our crystal cards, right? My thousands of species cards that are so cute. Look how tiny they are compared to my hand. So for these, and again, this is all for tomorrow, right? So all of this is starting tomorrow. So we need to get ready for it. So what we need to do is carry that citrine energy, right? So citrine is this pale yellow, and I don't have one up here, or I'd show it to you. Or maybe I do. Do I? Yeah, there it is. All right. You can't really see how pale yellow this is. Well, maybe if I do it this way. Nope, it's coming up clear. But if you look here, you can see that pale yellow. That's citrine. And citrine represents success, right? That's the energy that comes with it, is success. So even if you don't have a piece of citrine to put in your bra tomorrow, you can imagine yourself bathed in this yellow light for success. Just a really pale yellow light. But I'll warn you, sometimes it attracts weirdos. Or else it's just me. I don't know. I'm thinking it's probably just me. But then the next card that we pulled is called Tangerine Quartz. And y'all know I love me some orange, right? So Tangerine Quartz, and I'm looking for a piece of Tangerine Quartz, is all about innovation, right? So this is, where did he go? This is a transformation card. Because and if you innovate something, right, you're changing it. It's a transformation. So, of course, these two cards would come up together because they're transformative. One is innovative, one is ending something. And again, if you're wanting to feel innovative tomorrow, just imagine yourself walking around in an orange light. I tend to do that every day because I just love orange. See, I got my nails did. And then the last one that came up, everybody knows about this one. Let me see if I can find my piece. We'll grab this one. It's a slice. It's an agate. It's amethyst, right? So the next crystal energy that came up is amethyst. And a lot of people think that amethyst is all peace and tranquility and acceptance, and it can be. But it's also the stone of discernment. And discernment is, being able to decide where you're going to put your energy, where you're going to put your focus. You have to think about what you really want in your life, and then you have to say no to everything that isn't that. And that includes, if you want more peace in your life, why are you going to hang out with people who should be on Jerry Springer? I mean, think about it, right? If you like that drama, hang out with them. More power to you. Please give us reports. But one of the things that you can do if you don't have a slice of amethyst, I think my other amethyst is downstairs by my bed. I probably used it in a meditation. Amethyst is also representative of your crown chakra, which is your connection to source, God, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. So if you're feeling that you need to be a little more discerning in where you put your energy and your focus, you can imagine this amethyst light coming down over you and giving you the ability to say no to the bullshit that doesn't need to be in the life that you want to have, right? Now, the most important deck for tomorrow is my self-care deck, right? And we all love the self-care deck. The first one that came up is, of course, rest. And we've already had several rest cards come up. We've already talked about this in the reading for tomorrow. This isn't necessarily sleep. It's, withdrawing, going into that solitude, even if it's soaking in the bathtub, that little bit of solitude to recharge your batteries and settle your nervous system. And the journal prompt for this one is, how much rest are you getting? And are you noticing any patterns that come with your rest? Like, do you only, how are you sleeping at night? Are you having stupid, vivid dreams at night? Are you taking a nap during the day because you're so tired? Are you taking a nap during the day because you just like to take naps? God knows I don't take naps. Once the sun hits my eyeballs, that's it. We're on. But definitely tomorrow at some point, try to get some rest. Even if it's climbing into the bathtub to do that salt bath to clean your aura, right? So the next one that came up, if you've ever been in one of my yoga classes, you know I stress this very, very hard. It's all about that deep breathing, okay? And this can be the box breathing that I teach in the yoga class, where I have you inhale for 3, hold it for 3, exhale out through your mouth for 3, hold for 3, and you just keep doing that until you bring your stress levels down. But now I'm going to ask you this, okay? If you stopped and took a breath before you responded to anything, how much different would your life be? And I'm going to tell you why. Because that little space in between something happening and your response or reaction, because they're two different things, can be a breath. So if you can take that deep breath, right? Just kind of close your eyes, hold it for a little bit, and then exhale it all out through your mouth. That's giving you the chance to respond. If you don't take that breath and you're like that, that is a reaction. 9 times out of 10, our reactions to something are wrong. You like that one, right? So taking that deep breath gives your central nervous system a chance to settle down so that you can get all the information that you need. So think about how much different your life would be if you took a deep breath every time something that jolted you happened. Now, I'm not saying that you need to take a deep breath and contemplate the tomatoes at the Kroger. I mean, if you want to, you can. More power to you. Let me know how that goes. But somebody is saying something to you that is just flying all over you, rather than lashing out with a reaction, take a deep breath. I mean, close your eyes, turn your back if you have to. But take that deep breath, exhale out that initial reaction, and then respond intelligently. Okay? So let's practice that tomorrow too, because I get the feeling that we're going to have to do a lot of deep breathing tomorrow. A lot of deep breathing. The next one that came out, again, we are talking gratitude. Look at here, look at here. 2 gratitude cards, bunch of queen cards, bunch of transformation cards. Self-care tomorrow, we're going to write a gratitude list. Let's start a gratitude journal, right? You can be in the Witch of Theta group here on Facebook, and you can write 3 things that you're grateful for. Make a post about it. Tell us why you're grateful about it, because you know what? Your gratitude becomes contagious. If you don't want to share what you're grateful for in the group, totally 100% okay. One of the things I'm always going to be grateful for is a cup of coffee. Always. It doesn't have to be, I'm grateful that I won the lottery. I'm grateful for, the big giant thing. It literally can be something as simple as, I am grateful that I have this cup of coffee. I am grateful that I have a roof over my head. I am grateful that I have food in my belly, friends that love me, family that loves me. It can be anything. Write it down, because the more attention you pay to the things for which you're grateful, the more things you have to be grateful about. Simple, simple, simple. What you focus on is what you attract. So if you're focusing on the negative shit, you're going to keep attracting more negative shit to be negative about. So just pick one thing. One thing is all it takes to start. One thing. I'm grateful for this cup of coffee. And you are set for the day. Now, the last card in this reading for tomorrow, right, comes back to, where to go? Desire. Only it comes to the light side of desire, because it is the card pleasure. Okay. Now, I know in the card, it's a woman masturbating, for lack of a better term. We're just going to call it what it is, because we're all grown-ups here, right? This is not necessarily all this is about. Again, it comes back to the gratitude and writing out that gratitude list, right? Because we can be grateful things that bring us pleasure. Right now, as crazy as it sounds, I am deriving a lot of pleasure from this sonic ocean water. I don't know why. It just makes my mouth happy. And if my mouth is happy, then I'm happy. That's probably also why I want an apple cider donut. So pleasure isn't just about sex. I know people in Western society want to believe that. I get a lot of pleasure out of watching the sunrise. Okay. And that's simply because there was at one point I was kind of doubtful that I would reach 51 and would be able to watch the sunrise every day. But I am, and I'm grateful for it. And it brings me pleasure. Okay. Whatever brings you pleasure is what brings you pleasure. So the question that you have to ask about this, okay, and it's a journal prompt. You can write it out if you want to. What kind of pleasure do you want to bring into your life? All right. What's going to make you feel good? Do you need to get in the salt bath to cleanse your aura, have an orgasm? Go for it. I'm not going to tell you not to. They're wonderful. Do you need to go for a hike to a waterfall and put your feet in the plunge pool? Does that make you feel good? Well, why not do that? Meeting friends for coffee. Does that bring you pleasure? Well, do that. Be safe about it, but you can do that, right? So that is why my entire body has been itching all damn day. And in talking with, those are all my notes, keywords and stuff. And in meditating and listening to my higher self, my witch self, whatever you want to call it, one of the things that I am being called to do is, obviously, I mean, we're at almost an hour on this reading, because tomorrow is going to be a very important day. Like, I'm feeling it all in my hands and my scalp and my nose. Tomorrow, something big is going to happen. I just can't quite put my finger on it. It may be big for one person in the group. It may be big for everybody in the group. It may be, nationwide, country, continent-wide, worldwide. I don't know, but something big is happening tomorrow. And we need to be prepared for that. But one of the things that I'm being called to do is to do a short general reading for the group. I won't necessarily pull from all 8 decks every day. There may be days where I pull from 8. There may be days where I only pull from the goddess and the dreams of Gaia. There may be a day where it's more about self-care. But that is one of the things that I am going to do for our group here. So if there is, if you want to show some support, you can share this video. You can tip in my Cash App. You can tip in Venmo. I'm going to appreciate that energy exchange because I appreciate all of you actually supporting me on this journey. My nose is not so itchy anymore, so apparently I need to come talk to you. But yeah, so that's a thing that I'm going to do. So this is our reading for tomorrow. These are our cards for tomorrow. If you've got any questions, any comments you want to make, feel free. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I know damn near everybody in here. We have a few we're going to get to know as we move forward with this group. And so, yeah, there you have it. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. We've got a big transformation coming. We need to sort of steel ourselves and get ready to, I don't want to say politely defend ourselves, but, if your beliefs or ideals are challenged, you need to be able to take that deep breath and debate, defend whatever it is that you need to do. Just don't let that anger that's floating around in the world, don't let that angry energy come into you because you don't need it and it's going to cause you more drama than what you need. So, deep breath, everybody. Have a good evening. Keep your eyes wide open tomorrow. Let's figure out what's going to happen. And then tomorrow evening, before I go teach my yoga class tomorrow evening, which is in person, yay! I'll go live again and we'll talk about what's going to happen on Thursday. Okay? Keep it straight. Keep your head on a swivel. Eyes open. Clean your energy, babe. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow.